Today, we're going to be speaking with Mr. Eddie Fernandez, a professional golfer. Mr. Fernandez graduated from Central Connecticut State University. He was the 2018 Velvet Masters Lawn Drive champion. He is ranked number 1 worldwide in the Masters division and number 14 worldwide in the Open division. Mr. Fernandez has also held fundraisers for over 100 charities and foundations. So, Mr. Fernandez, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Let's get started with our first question. So
You
you
got it.
received a BS in marketing in college, and now you're a worldwide golf champion. Tell us about this journey.
Well, God, college was great. I played golf in college, had a good career.
Mhm.
Um, got my degree in way back when in 1993, and golf was a great vehicle to move forward. I graduated with a marketing degree and haven't used it too much. Pretty much just kind of marketing myself and certain charities and kind of going about it that way, doing a long drive and being able to use my strengths as hitting the ball really, really far to help raise money for different charities and and things like that is really, really cool to be able to help others with something that I do very well. So it's pretty cool.
Mhm. Good. How did you first get into golfing, and when did you start playing?
So I got into golf when I was, as far as I can remember, I was like 5 years old. So I grew up
Oh,
on a
wow.
little tiny municipal golf course in Connecticut, and my
Mhm.
dad took me out there and kind of introduced me to the game at 5. That's like my earliest memory. But I took it seriously at like 12 or 13. I played baseball as a kid and kind of quit baseball at 13 to really focus on golf. So which
Mhm.
I think was a good career move. So I'm still doing it
Yeah,
at 51.
definitely.
So.
Mhm. Who do you think is your main influence throughout your career?
Oh gosh, I would say my brother was a huge influence. He was a phenomenal athlete, wrestler, and just kind of seeing his work ethic growing up. And he was 10 years older than me, and
Oh, wow.
seeing him win a national championship in wrestling in college, and had an opportunity to make the Olympic team in 1984, and
Wow.
unfortunately blew out his knee a couple months before the trials and never got to realize that dream. So, but
Sorry.
but he was a really big influence when I was a kid because that's all I saw. I saw him win like every match, and I saw him win, and so I just figured, well, I guess that's what you do, right? You go and you compete and you win. So that was
Mhm.
really good for me to see as a child, between the ages of 5 and 12.
Mhm. Definitely. What do you do on a regular basis to maintain your skills? How many hours do you practice a week?
So I practice. So I train in the gym 3 to 4 days a week,
Mhm.
doing different rotational stuff. Being a little older, being 51, I'm not in the gym. Bench pressing 400 pounds and squatting 500 pounds. So I just kind of maintain what I do with my body. Make sure the mobility aspects of my body are good. Shoulders, hips, ankles, and that's the key to longevity, right? I want to
Mhm.
be I want to be able to play this game for a long time and at a high level. So I've got to really take care of my body and train the right way. And I use a lot of band work, do a lot of
Mhm.
band work, and do a lot of pliable exercises, and
Right.
that's kind of what makes me keeps me pretty healthy for the most part. And I practice on the golf course pretty much 6 days a week.
Wow.
So it's anywhere ranges anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours to 6 or 7 hours, just depending on what I'm working on that day. And but yeah, it can get pretty long, especially in these Florida summers. Gets a little
Yeah,
hot.
definitely. Mhm. What's the thing you love most about your career?
I think the thing I love most is competing. I've been competing ever since I was 8 years old,
Mhm.
in baseball. Always loved it. I've always wanted the ball. Um, I've always wanted to take the last shot. So it drives me. It really, I love being in the position to where the pressure's on and I have to perform, have to hit a good shot. Um, and that's what really gets my juices flowing. So
Mhm.
I would say, yeah, that's I love it.
Yeah. Which tournament was your favorite to play in and why?
Oh gosh. Well, I just made my PGA Tour Champions debut at Pebble Beach out in California in September. and tied the lowest score of the day, the second day out at Spyglass Hill, which was the same tournament. But that was really cool, just being out there with Hall of Famers and major champions and really kind of rubbing shoulders with them and talking to them and them accepting me and being really cool with me. I think that was probably the best experience I've had in a professional golf event, but also winning the World Long Drive Championship Masters Division in 2018. Probably maybe a notch higher than that, but just because I won and that was one of my goals. So it's pretty tough, but they're two kind of different things. One is just like getting up there and hitting it as hard and as far as you can. And the other one is actually playing golf where you have to kind of be, mellow and stuff and just kind of take one shot at a time.
Yeah. Congratulations on your #1 world ranking in the Masters division.
Thank you.
Please tell us about your journey to this achievement.
So I almost made the PGA Tour in 2004 was the last year I played, and I got married in 2003. And I had my wife was pregnant with our first child, and I just missed the cut at PGA Tour qualifying at the second stage, and I took some time off and knew I would kind of get back into golf at some point, but having a family and I just, even though my wife wanted me to keep playing, but I wanted to continue. I wanted to kind of take care of my family and
Yeah,
provide for my
definitely.
family and kind of, put golf on hold for a while. I've been doing it for a while and came close, but just hadn't happened at that time. So fast forward about 9.5 years to 2014 and kind of was watching the 2013 World Long Drive Championships on TV. I'm like, you know what? I've always hit it really far. Maybe I could do something with this. So once I got on a TrackMan, which is a launch monitor, figured out what my speeds were, and it was pretty close to the competitors at that time, even at 43
Oh,
years
wow.
old. And I kind of took off and running with it, and kind of had a goal to use long drive as a platform to play again.
Yeah.
And when I turned 50, so I had 6 years of training and working my butt off and tons of support from home, my wife and kids. And yeah, it happened. 2018, it was, I had lost in the semifinals in 2017. And
Oh,
I literally started training 2 days after that for
wow.
2018. There's no way I'm going to get beat in 2018. I pretty much steamrolled everyone in 2018. So it was good. It was one of those things to where I was just so driven to be a world champion and knew that I could do it. That just nothing was going to stop me. And I just kind of put that mindset and with my training and preparation and yeah, it happened.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What do you think is your best experience that you've had throughout your career?
Oh gosh, the best experience, probably meeting a lot of PGA Tour players and just kind of picking their brains, because when you're a kid and you're a junior player and you're in high school or college and you look at tour players and you think they're at a different level than you can get to, you're not really sure. You think you're good enough, but you're really not sure. I think the cool thing for me is that the coolest experience is playing with Graham McDowell and some of these guys in the same tournaments as Tiger and Mickelson and some of the best players of all time and best players in the world. And you beat them. You're hanging with them. You're like, yeah, you know what? I have it. I can do this. So I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that I get from playing with guys that are making millions of dollars every year playing this game for a living and knowing that, hey, you know what, I can hit that shot and I can shoot that score and I can do what he's doing, except I can hit it 50 yards farther. So yeah, I think that's the cool thing, believing and kind of seeing what your peers are doing in the profession that you want to the direction that you want to go into. I think it's really important to kind of say, yeah, you know what, I can do this. And once that belief is in there, then if you have the right work ethic and the dedication, sky's the limit.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us about your upcoming competitive events in 2022.
So I'll be competing in some Champions Tour qualifiers. I will probably get a couple of exemptions, meaning they'll just say, hey, we'd love to have you compete in our tournament. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I've got a lot of smaller events here in Florida and a couple around the country. So and I've got charity events as well. So it's kind of a nice mix of doing charity events, some appearances, help raising money for charities, and also competition to where I'll actually, play in 2 and 3 day events on tour.
Yeah. So speaking of charities, I understand that you hold a lot of fundraisers. When did you start fundraising?
So I don't hold the fundraisers. I get hired to do that.
Got it.
So I've been doing it for a while, and I've done some really cool. So let's just say a charity. Let's just say Michael Phelps. I do Michael Phelps's event every year up in Illinois for
Wow.
his foundation. So I will sit on a par five, and it's a celebrity event, and I'll hit it 380 plus yards for all the groups, and we'll raise money and they'll pay to take my drive. So each group. So I think we've raised between 13 and 15,000 every year
Wow.
that I've done the event.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, so I do a bunch of those. So
Mhm.
basically, they hire me for the day, and I'll come in and I'll entertain and have a lot of fun with all the groups, and just hit absolute bombs for everybody. And they love it. It's because it's a lot different than seeing it on TV.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
hit a driver on TV, it's one thing, but you see it in real life, and the sound and the flight, and all of a sudden it gets really small in a hurry. So it's kind of cool to see people's reaction when they see it live.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of fun that I can use a skill that I have to help raise money for sick children, or ALS, or
Hmm.
Kawasaki kids, and things like that. So it's pretty humbling.
Yeah. What kind of other charities have you fundraised for besides the Michael Phelps Foundation?
Oh gosh, NFL charities, Make a Wish, a
Okay.
bunch of children's hospitals, Kawasaki
Hmm.
Kids. I'm actually an ambassador for Kawasaki Kids. It's a heart disease in children. Um,
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful foundation, great people.
Hmm.
Uh, gosh, but a lot of children. A lot of kids charities, hospitals, children's hospitals, St. Jude. Um, and I've done a bunch of celebrities as well. So it's cool. The Blackhawks. I've done Mariano Rivera from the Yankees. Best closer of all time in baseball, and
Hmm.
it's just cool to kind of see what these guys, what they're like outside of their profession. Baseball,
Hmm.
hockey, um, and certain things like that. But it's really cool to kind of, and then when they see me hit it, they're like, wow,
Hmm.
So and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, when I meet them, right? Because I'm so
Mhm.
enamored with what they do and how good they are at their craft, and
Right.
it's just such a mutual respect. It's really really cool.
Yeah, that's great. Going back to golf, are you an ambassador for any brands?
So I am actually Clear Golf. They make golf balls, and I use their golf balls and gloves, and
Hmm.
Long Drive for Heroes. So Long Drive for Heroes, I'm an ambassador for them. They
Hmm.
are the gentleman that owns it is actually a good friend of mine. He's a 2-time Purple Heart recipient. He was in the Marines, and saw a lot of
Hmm.
action in Iraq and Afghanistan. And what Long Drive for Heroes is it's a foundation to help soldiers and their families deal with PTSD
Okay.
awareness. So it's unfortunate that some of the stories I hear about, soldiers coming back, and just all of the tough stories, and,
Mm.
people dealing with PTSD from the war. And it's just really sad. So I'm glad I can help be a small part of such a
Yeah,
great
that's great.
foundation to help raise awareness and raise some money for them as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Last question. What advice would you give to high schoolers looking to pursue professional golf, possibly alongside another career?
So they need a lot of time. Have to put a lot of time into it.
Definitely.
Golf is, yeah, it takes a lot of your time and attention. So it's almost like you have to be selfish with your time, because in order to get good at this game, you have to put a lot of time into it. And that's all I did as a kid. Um, I was able to win a state championship in high school. And I grew up in Connecticut. And a funny story, uh, back when I was a kid, in January, February, I mean, it's cold. There's snow on the ground. And I would
Yeah.
shovel the snow off the golf course and hit golf balls. And I'm sure my neighbors looked at me like, this kid is out of his mind. Like, what is he doing? But
Mhm.
you've got to be willing to do things that others aren't willing to do. So I
Right.
was, willing to hit balls in 10-degree weather in January outside because I couldn't wait. I had to be around the game. So not only did I win a state championship, I had a lot of accolades in high school, had a full scholarship to play Division I golf, had another Hall of Fame, career in college, and turned professional right after. So, hard work, dedication, and the right mindset. You really have to be patient with the game because it'll eat you up and spit you out. It's tough, but if you have the right mentality and the right patience to play, and you put the right time into it, you can definitely do it as a profession.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for your guidance. I loved how you talk about how you used your skills to help a lot of foundations. That was really interesting.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Mhm.